Hi, everyone. It's Sandy Holterhouse, your Rec Center dietitian. We are on episode 4 of our Future 50 Foods, exploring fueling for the future, the March 2023 theme for National Nutrition Month. So as our planet continues to grow in population, we are currently at about 8 billion people on the planet. By 2050, we are expected to be at about 10 billion people. So a rapid increase in our population over the next 25 years or so. How are we going to continue to feed all these people, nourish them, and sustain our planet? So that's what we're talking about today here in episode 4. We have already covered cereals and grains, beans, legumes, and sprouts, and vegetables and cacti in previous episodes. We are going to be covering mushrooms and algae today. So Knorr, a German food and beverage company, in partnership with the World Wildlife Foundation and the Center for Public Health and Nutrition, joined together and developed the criteria for selecting the future 50 foods that would sustain our planet. And the criteria they chose were that the food should be plant-based and affordable. And again, nothing against eating animals, just that the plants take less water. Land use is not required as much for feed, of course, as it is for animals. So much more less costly in terms of water to raise plants. The foods have to be nutrient dense and increase 15 key nutrients and decrease saturated fat, sodium, and added sugar in our diets. They have to have low environmental impacts, so low greenhouse gas emissions and land use. So meaning that the crops can be rotated and the land can be reused quickly, or that the plants have a high yield, being that they're pest resistant, so that we can get a higher yield from those plants. Or maybe we're able to grow these plants in desert areas or dry soils, or in very wet soils, or even in aquatic areas. So those were all important criteria. They also chose culture and flavor. They wanted to make sure that these foods where they were currently being grown were acceptable to the populations there. They could be used to flavor foods. And also we wanted to make sure we could move these crops to other climates where other people would be able to enjoy the foods, or to similar climates, I should say. And the foods also needed to deliver nutrients from diverse food groups. So our carbohydrates from our cereals and grains, our protein from our beans and legumes, and then our vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants from our vegetables. So getting started here with mushrooms and algae, we have 3 mushrooms that were chosen for the 50 foods list. Pictured here, I have the saffron milkcap mushroom in the upper left, and then I have the inaki mushroom in the upper right. The saffron milkcap mushroom grows in pine forests in Europe and North America, and they're picked between August and October. The mushrooms have a beautiful orange color and ooze a milky liquid when the gills are cut. These mushrooms are a good source of fiber and can be fried or pickled, and are popular additions to risotto dishes. The inaki mushroom is popular in China, Japan, and Vietnam, where it originated. The mushrooms commonly grow on hackberry, mulberry, persimmon, and ash trees. The mushroom has a unique Q-tip shape and umami flavor, and is commonly eaten in soups, stir fries, and salads. Quick cooking techniques are used to maintain the flavor and texture of this small mushroom, such as quick fried or pan roasted, or added at the end of the cooking time to soups and stir fries. Our recipe for mushrooms is maitake wild rice salad. There's the link on my Pinterest page to that recipe. Maitake mushrooms can grow in layers and increase in size to about 100 pounds. I think I see some of these in my woods sometimes. They're generally found sitting at the base of an oak, an elm, or maple trees in China, Japan, and parts of the US. Maitakes are a source of B vitamins and non-animal source of vitamin D. Having a strong earthy flavor, maitake mushrooms can be added to omelets, stir fries, stews, and sauces. The recipe here, you can see in the bowl there, maitake wild rice features the mushroom with onion, chives, wild rice, lemon, salt, and pepper, olive oil, and walnuts. We'll move on here to algae. So now some crops that can actually be grown in water. So interesting there. We'll cover two different algae that were included, the laver seaweed and wakame seaweed. Here we have pictured laver. Laver is a variety of red algae called nori in Japan and commonly used for wrapping sushi. Seaweeds have been called a game changer in the food industry as they can be grown in water year-round and require no fertilization or pesticides. Laver is valued for being rich in vitamin C and iodine. And here I have wakame pictured and also used in a Japanese seaweed salad with the link there at my Pinterest page. Wakame has been cultivated by sea farmers in Korea and Japan for centuries. Rich in sea minerals and noted for being one of only a few plant sources of the omega-3 fatty acid, EPA, wakame is generally sold dried and rehydrated and added to soups, salads, stir fries, and side dishes. I like to make my own vegetable broth, and frequently I will add some wakame or nori or kelp, a little bit of a strip of it to my vegetable broth as I'm cooking it. So I save my vegetable scraps in the freezer. When I get enough, I'll throw those into a pot of boiling water and add in some seaweed, just because of the additional minerals that seaweed will add to my vegetable broth. Cook that for a couple hours, let it cool, and pour it off into my jars. So a nice way to use up your vegetable scraps. And if you want to add a little additional nutrition, you can add some of that seaweed. So the seaweed salad featured here is made of wakame, cucumbers, ginger, and garlic. The dressing includes soy sauce, sesame oil, rice vinegar, and mirin, which you can substitute a medium to dry white wine for mirin if you want, or sake if you happen to have that on hand. The seasonings include red pepper flakes, sugar, and black and white sesame seeds. Moving on here. Again, you can find recipes for all of these 50 future foods or information about them linked to my Pinterest site called Exploring Healthy Foods and Diets. The link is there. You can also pick up a copy of that link here at the Rec Center. There's cards available. You can ask at the front desk if you can't find one. And I just want to thank you again for joining. And next week will be our final episode. And we will be talking about nuts and seeds and tubers. Thanks for joining.